What is up, everybody? We are live. Thank you for being here. Question: I've been getting a lot of videos for some reason across my For You page, and even on like Facebook and YouTube and things like that. I'm I'm seeing a lot of videos of the CIA remote viewing program, right? And all of these creators, all these people making content, saying things like, "Oh, I can't believe people are just ignoring that the CIA, studied remote viewing," and then they show, the release for the Freedom of Information Act and all that other stuff. They show the release, right? And I've seen about 7 of those videos today. And if you go through the comments, people are like, "Oh, people are still asleep." I've known about, Looking Glass and all this other stuff for years, blah, blah, blah. But I wonder if any of these people have actually read the document. Like if they actually read through the document, right? I feel like everyone is just parroting what they saw on some YouTube conspiracy channel or on a conspiracy channel here on TikTok or whatever. I doubt that anybody has actually read through the document. And the reason I feel like that is because everyone seems to think that the CIA is doing remote viewing, right? But if you actually read the document, it gives you the analysis, the result of their project. And they state unequivocally that it's unreliable. We can't replicate it multiple times. Sure, a couple people may have had success, but the entirety of the group did not. There was no way to determine if what they were seeing was based on some outside influence. There was no cohesion between what everybody was seeing. But this is skipped over. I don't get it. I don't get it. All these videos about, "Oh my God, the CIA and remote viewing, the CIA remote viewing," but no one's reading the document. Everyone's freaking out. "Oh my God, remote viewing is real. It's real. It's real. The CIA is doing it," but no one actually reads the document. Like, why don't we do that? Let's not be conspiracy theorists. Why don't we read the document together, guys? Why don't we do that? Why don't I flip the camera and we take a look at the document? Let me undo my John. There we go. All right, let me scroll up here. So this is an evaluation of the remote viewing program, research and operational applications. This was approved for release May 22nd, 2002. It was prepared by the American Institutes for Research on September 22nd, 1995. Now, we can scroll through the executive summary. The beautiful thing is that it's only like 2 or 3 pages down. Here it is right here. Right in the executive summary. So you don't even have to waste your time reading through 178 pages because, of course, no one's going to do that. It's right here at the beginning. Why don't we read? Why don't we read right here? And again, I'm not on it. We scrolled down. This is it. An evaluation of the remote viewing program, research and operational applications. Let's read it. Because I don't know why conspiracy theorists don't do this. They just believe whatever some guy on YouTube says who also didn't read the paper. But right here on the second page, this is page 1, the research evaluation on the second page. It's right here. Let's start. In the typical remote viewing experiment in the laboratory, a remote viewer is asked to visualize a place, location, or object being viewed by a beacon or sender. A judge then examines the viewer's report and determines if this report matches the target or, alternatively, a set of decoys. In most recent laboratory experiments reviewed for the present evaluation, National Geographic photographs provided the target pool. If the viewer's reports match the target as opposed to the decoys, a hit is said to have occurred. Alternatively, accuracy of a set of remote viewing reports is assessed by rank ordering the similarity of each remote viewing report to each photograph in the target set. usually 5 photographs. A better than chance score is presumed to represent the occurrence of the paranormal phenomenon of remote viewing. Since the remote viewers had not seen the photographs they had described or did not show or did not know which photographs had been randomly selected for a particular remote viewing trial. In evaluating the various laboratory studies conducted to date, the reviewers reached the following conclusions. Here we go. This is where the conspiracy theorists just skip this part. A statistically significant laboratory effort has been demonstrated in the sense that a hit occurs more often than chance. That's pretty cool. It is unclear whether the observed effects can unambiguously be attributed to the paranormal ability of the remote viewers as opposed to the characteristics of judges or of the target or of some other characteristic of the methods used. Use of the same remote viewers, the same judge, and the same target photographs make it impossible to identify their independent effects. Evidence has not been provided that clearly demonstrates the causes of hits are due to the operation of paranormal phenomena. The laboratory experiments have not identified the sources or origins of the remote viewing phenomenon. So, this is from the research evaluation in the executive summary. We can then move on to the operational evaluation, which has its own set of issues, and then conclusion. And this is the important part right here. The foregoing observations provide a compelling argument against continuation of a program within the intelligence communities. But let's not skip anything. Let's go back and let's read the operational evaluation. So the research evaluation concluded that we can't prove that any of this is based on any sort of psychic phenomena because there was not that great of a chance of any hits. Most of the people weren't getting any hits. Most of the people were hitting decoys, according to this paper. But let's take a look at the operational evaluation, because the conspiracy theorists don't do this. They skip over this stuff. The second component of the program involved the use of remote viewing in gathering intelligence information. Here, representatives of various intelligence groups, end users of intelligence information, presented targets to remote viewers, who were asked to describe the target. Typically, the remote viewers described the results of their experience in written reports, which were forwarded to the end users for evaluation and, if warranted, action. To assess the operational value of remote viewing and intelligence gathering, a multifaceted evaluation strategy was employed. First, the relevant research literature was reviewed to identify whether the conditions during intelligence gathering would reasonably permit application of the remote viewing paradigm. Second, members of 3 groups involved in the program were interviewed. 1, end users of the information. 2, the remote viewers providing the reports. And 3, the program manager. Third, feedback information obtained from end user judgments of the accuracy and value of the remote viewing reports were assessed. The multifaceted effort led to the following conclusions. The conditions under which the remote viewing phenomenon is observed in laboratory settings do not apply in intelligence gathering situations. Do you know what that means? You can't use remote viewing to find out information. Guys, oh my God, the CIA studied remote viewing. You guys gotta go look it up. You gotta go look it up on YouTube. It doesn't work. You can't use it for what you want to use it for. Do you want to know why it doesn't work? Because it's New Age nonsense. That's why it doesn't work. This is the exact same document that people on YouTube, people here on TikTok, people on Instagram, people on Facebook, whatever video streaming or sharing platform that can host conspiracy videos, this is the same document that everyone is allegedly reading, but apparently no one is actually reading it. Apparently everyone's just like, well, they studied it, therefore it must be real, it must work, and all this other stuff. No. They came to the conclusion that it doesn't work. We're not going to spend any more money on this. We're moving on. Let's continue. Let's keep reading. Because someone in the chat's going to say, "Oh, well, you skipped the second one where they say that this is the greatest thing under the sun." So let's keep going. The end users indicating that although some accuracy was observed with regard to broad background characteristics, the remote viewing reports failed to produce the concrete specific information valued in intelligence gathering. Oh my. All the conspiracy theorists on YouTube must have missed that. With all the research that they claim to do, they missed that. They missed page 3. They skipped page 3. I could see if this was page 303, 700, it's a big, thick PhD level book. I can understand if you didn't want to read through 500 pages. Okay. This is page 3, bruv. This is page 3. This is the cover, so we don't count the cover. This is the cover. Page 1, page 2, page 3. This is where we are. This is insane. It's insane. It doesn't work. And I don't know why people on YouTube, on TikTok, on any other video sharing platform can't see this. Isn't the mantra of the conspiracy community, even the paranormal community, even the New Age community, isn't their favorite mantra, do your own research, bro? I don't think anybody did their own research here. Because this is the CIA themselves telling you, yeah, sure, we studied it. And some people had success. But now they don't give any numbers. So I'm making up numbers here. This is for ease of math. Okay. Because I don't want anybody out there saying the mystical rebel claimed that they did 100 people and I got evidence that it was 700. I'm making these numbers up. Okay. I'm making these numbers up for ease of math. But let's say there was 100 people in this study. 100 people. Sure, maybe 10 of them, 15, maybe even 20 of them had some nice results. But 80, 85, 90 of them did not. Stat-sig was not, let me speak regular language. Statistical significance, that's what stat-sig is. Stat-sig was not reached. There was no stat-sig. So I don't understand what all this is and why people are like, oh my God, I don't understand why people are still asleep. The government was studying remote viewing. Yes, they were. And then they stopped because it didn't work. Now you could argue that they're lying, but why would, so you want me to believe that in 1995, when this was written, 1995, they anticipated that in 2002, when this was released, that someone would have requested a Freedom of Information Act, whatever, to release this, so we have to put a lie in right now? Is that what you think happened? That the CIA foresaw the future and had to cover their bases early? Because that's the only logical explanation for they would lie. So then the only other option is they're not lying. This is valid. Yes, they studied remote viewing. Yes, they attempted it. Yes, some people had success. But overall, stat-sig was not reached. Stat-sig was not reached. So, if anybody can explain why the occult conspiracy community is freaking out over the CIA doing and studying remote viewing, I would appreciate that, because if you read pages 2 through 4, then you'll know that no need. So, I don't know what's going on, but remote viewing, it's a watered down version of scrying. Mostly scrying in the spirit vision, or scrying in the Tatwa. What the? Get off of me. Let me put my thing back up here. There we go. But yeah. So I'm not sure why. Let me see what's going on in the live here. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're talking about the gateway process tonight. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of videos lately on it, and I'm getting tired of it. I'm seeing a lot of videos on both here and on my YouTube, where people are just, oh my God, oh the CIA studied this stuff, guys. Oh my, like that meme. That's what they're doing, and it's like, yes, but did you actually read it? Like everyone's like, the CIA had to release the document. Yeah, did you read it or no? Yeah, man, I read it. All right, then what are you excited for? Why are you hyped? That doesn't make any. What? I don't understand. Like, you wouldn't be hype if you had, and I don't wish this on anybody, and trigger warning, but if you had cancer and you find out that a company over here is studying a cure for your cancer, and then they stopped, and then you found out that they studied it and then they stopped, you wouldn't be excited. You wouldn't be like, oh, hoo, hoo. You wouldn't be excited. You'd be like, they stopped, so now there's no more progress. That's what happened there. They stopped. Why? Because it didn't work. So, is it remote viewing just like distorted astral projection? Never grasped how it worked. Well, it doesn't really work. But no, it's not distorted astral projection. It's a watered down. Well, I mean, I guess if you're in the camp that believes that scrying is similar to astral projection and lucid dreaming, then I guess in that way you could say it's distorted astral projection. But technically, no. It's a watered down, just like the New Age does all the time. It's a watered down version of a legitimate occult practice known as scrying. So it doesn't work the way people think it does. If you dissociate and imagine, it does not work. If you use your mental power, nope. Indecision, yes. So wouldn't you think that the CIA and their experts would have determined that? And then don't you think they would have adjusted the program for that? They would have found the people who are using their mental power and, dissociate and imagine. They would have removed them and only kept the people who, I guess, according to you, used indecision. I would think that, the agents, the scientists, the researchers, whatever you want to call them at the CIA would have been smart enough to know that. But maybe you're smarter than, the people at the CIA. I don't know. But I would assume that the people in the CIA would have figured that out and adjusted for that. Oh, the remote viewing study. This should be good. Well, hopefully you mean that from the debunking perspective, because of course that's what we do here. Are we discussing just this project or astral projection in general? Well, we were discussing just that project, because people have been making videos lately that I've been seeing coming across my For You page and my YouTube about, the remote viewing from the CIA and the released documents, and oh my God, this changes everything. You guys gotta, learn this. You guys gotta go read the thing, blah, blah, blah. But no one's reading it. Everyone's just believing what the video says. And it's a little ridiculous. A little ridiculous. Remote viewing is happenstance and not a goal-oriented thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but you would think that researchers would have figured that out, especially because this wasn't like just a weekend thing. This was going on for quite a while, so they would have had quite a while to develop what's the word I'm looking for? A profile of the proper way to remote view, because that's why you study something, right? That's why you begin researching something, to find out not only if it's a real thing and if it works, but what's the best way to go about doing it. So you would think after multiple failures that their researchers aren't just sitting there just watching. You assume that they're taking notes, writing things down, recording things, and they're going back over. I mean, that's how research is done. I'm not a scientist. I'm a marketer, but I do market research. I do data research, and that's what I do. I would assume in a lab it would be the exact same way. We're not studying the same things, but studying is studying. You know, whether it's a language, whether it's planets, whether it's rocks, whether it's data, or whether it's remote viewing, studying is studying. So you would record your results, whether it's on paper, whether it's on film, whether it's on tape, whatever, and you would go back over it with your research team. You would find commonalities, find common patterns, develop a profile, and then based off that profile, adjust the test. And I'm not a CIA scientist, and I know that. So you would think that CIA scientists would know this. Hold on, let me turn this off. Are you planning on putting this live on YouTube afterwards? I can, if you would like to. I mean, if you would like me to. Normally, I only put like the dual live streams or the really informational live streams up on YouTube. But yeah, if you would like this one to go up, I can certainly put it up. One second, let me get rid of all these notifications. I hate notifications at the top. I don't get how people can have a million notifications at the top of their phone. I hate that. Good job covering the bases. Well, thank you very much. But I didn't do anything spectacular. I didn't do anything phenomenal. I just read the paper, and then I showed the paper so everyone can read it together. So that way, no one can accuse me of not really reading the paper. I didn't do anything spectacular, but maybe that is considered spectacular in today's world of short attention spans, and no one knowing how to read, and all this other stuff. So blessings. Hey, Karen. Not to be that guy, but do your research. Sure. What exactly would the CIA be doing with remote viewing anyway? Well, that's the thing. I don't think that, at least at first, they probably didn't have any nefarious purposes behind it. I'm sure if it worked out the way everyone thinks it worked out, then yes, it would have been used to spy on people and all that other stuff. But at first, I think they were just trying to figure out if it's a thing, if it's a real thing, right? But it's not, and they found that out relatively quickly, and they adjusted. And the adjustment was, we're not doing this anymore. We're not wasting any more money paying any of you researchers or any of you test subjects or any of you controls or anything like that, any end users. We're not paying you anymore because this doesn't work. So new background goes crazy. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's my maybe it would be better if I did the mirror effect. Maybe that'd be better. The mystical level. Maybe that'd be better. The CIA has a lot of things under their belt. Oh yes, there's no doubt about that. But this is not one of them. This is not one of them. I personally don't think that the CIA does any sort of occult. There's no need to. At least not today with the technology we have. No. This would have been good back when they were doing it, back when they were studying it, back in the 60s and the 70s and all that. It would have been great because serial killers were on the loose. Everybody and their father was a serial killer back then, and nobody get caught. Nowadays, good luck. Good luck. Your phone, my phone, every month tells me where I've been. Every month, Google sends me an update. You've been to all these new places. So good luck trying to kill somebody now. Good luck trying to kidnap somebody now. So no need to use remote viewing. They could just call your phone company and say, we think this guy's a terrorist, so give us their records. And if you don't, we'll sanction you like big time. So your choice, AT&T. But I had someone tell me about the wall of ice in the Antarctic and then say no one can go there. That's not true. There are people who live in Antarctica. Live there. There are people who work there. You who said that. You can go online right now and apply for a job. They have civilian jobs in Antarctica. There's no need. Yeah, you can go there. I don't know if you would like it there because it's not like it's not a 9 to 5 and then you go home. You're in Antarctica, so usually you're on a 6 month to a year assignment, and most people don't want to do that just to prove if there's an ice wall or not. But you can certainly go down there if you would like. Good luck. The astral projection is a good example for sure. When you can, it's on Google. What's on Google? Did I? Oh, the ice wall thing. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Are you an immortal yet? Yes, I am. You found me, and now that you are here, I can train you. That's my. I don't know. Like on Yu-Gi-Oh. When he turns into Yami Yugi. And it plays the music to show the change, or Jackie Chan movies whenever he's like about to like fight, when he goes from just a regular guy, I don't want no trouble, to the kung fu master. It changes the music. Yeah, that's what that was. That's my. Now I'm a master and I can train you to be an immortal. I'm also levitating right now. In case you were wondering, I'm floating on air. So. Just send me $5,000 to my Cash App, and I will sell you all the secrets, my friend. What are you initiated in? I am initiated into the green tradition of witchcraft through the Elderwood Coven. High Priestess Caroline Graham was my initiating witch. I also have an initiation in neo-shamanism, but that doesn't really count because that's a revivalist system. Agents would no longer need to be in the field to risk their lives. Exactly. Which would be a good option. But unfortunately, it's not true. Although, did anybody see, this has nothing to do with remote viewing, but it's something that could happen in the future if agents don't want to, bring any harm to themselves. And this is exactly what happened in the movie. Does anybody remember that movie? I believe it's 2006. Bruce Willis, and Godspeed to him because he's going through some things. But Bruce Willis, I believe it was called Surrogates, where, God, what the hell is that? Hold on, guys. There's like a alarm or something. Hold on. It was my goddaughter's Roblox. I thought like something was happening or something. Anyway, what was I saying? Surrogates with Bruce Willis. If I recall the plot correctly, he plays like a cop or something like that. Some kind of agent who's trying to catch a criminal, but the criminal keeps like switching bodies. So like apparently people, like there's these pods that people, like you have it in your house and you go in your pod and you sit in your pod. And the pod like creates like a clone of you or something like that. There's like another version of you, and that's what goes out into the world, right? But this person that I think Bruce Willis has to catch keeps switching bodies, right? So he has his clone, but then he jumps into another clone and commits a crime. Then jumps to another clone and commits a crime. And his job is to find out the original person who's sitting in the pod. So that would be a really good way for agents to not have to risk their lives in the field. Is astrology real? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And speaking of astrology, I actually, I've been talking to an astrology creator here on TikTok. She has agreed to start going live with me. So that'll be the third person that I go live with on a weekly basis. We're going to shoot for a weekend. So either like a Saturday or a Sunday live stream. Probably like late afternoon or late evening, depending on, what we feel is the best, because she's on a different time zone. So we got to kind of coordinate, when we feel we can get the most amount of people on. But that should be coming shortly. Some astrology live streams. So be on the lookout for that, Hades Network. If you're interested in astrology, I'll be making an announcement in my Discord. So join the Discord if you're not a member, once it's like 100% finalized. So what's up? TikTok ban failed today in the Senate. Oh, really? Good, good. But there's that other bill that passed, the one that limits us, S 886 or something like that, where it limits you, like if any app does get banned or any website or any service does get banned, and you use a VPN, which I use VPN all the time. Mulvad is top notch VPN under the sun, and so I use them for everything. And they say that if you use a VPN to access banned services, websites, apps, or whatever, you can face up to 20 years in prison and fines to up to $1 million. So if they ever did ban TikTok or any website or whatever, they they have the right to arrest you. Not only that, it gives them the power to create a new sort of entity within the government, and they can appoint a what do they call it? I forgot the title that they called it, but essentially it's like a minister of truth, right? We'll have like a truth ministry. I'd like a minister of communications or something like that. And that's quite scary because then they'll be able to basically have a monopoly on what's true and what's not. So, so how can I support my fledgling green witch wife? Does she need any supplies, any tools, any items? Did you can you help her with maybe I don't know where, like, what kind of living situation you guys have, like if you're in an apartment or a condo or something like that. But if you have a house or if you have space, are you able to help her with maybe a garden? Green witches love their herbs and their kitchen witchery. So you can certainly help her out there. If you're if you're not mechanically inclined, I guess if you're like handy, and you want to build her something, you can maybe build her a dedicated space in which she could do her work. That would be nice. I wish I had a dedicated space. I have to split my office and my workspace. Like I have to, so I work in here, like work, like when I'm working from home. And then also this doubles as my ritual room. I wish I had a dedicated space to do work. Well, I didn't get to stay long, but I got to go to sleep. It's nearly 4 a.m. here. Oh my God. Well, have a good evening or morning. School sucks. Jesus Christ. 4 a.m. Aren't you in Germany? Are you in Germany? Deutschland? I pray that the Holy Spirit may redirect you and anyone else seeking God back to Him. Well, thank you. It's not the CIA's department. They just want neutralization data. The latest phones can read your mind. What do you mean they can read your mind? They can barely get Wi-Fi right, but they can read our minds? What do you mean by that? The spoonful. The 70s were also an interesting time period. Yeah, porn. The porn got big in the 70s. Like super big in the 70s. Movies started getting really good in the 70s. I mean, Jaws. There were some greats before that, but like Jaws is what really got cinema going. Yeah, the 70s was a pretty interesting time. That alarm is getting me so tight. I did not believe the guy who told me that BS. It was stupid. Good, good, good. I'm not sure, but without a doubt, my latest Samsung reads my mind. I've got the latest Samsung. I've got the S23 Ultra. I got it literally the day it came out. Of course, it didn't ship until a couple days later. But I went to the AT&T store the day that it came out, and I don't think it reads my mind. If you mean like it's showing you stuff that you've talked about or you were thinking about or whatever, that's because it recognizes your patterns, right? It watches what you watch on the internet. It watches what you search on the internet. It watches where you travel. Whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, it'll see where you're going. Unless you're routing everything through a VPN, it's going to see all the data, and it's going to log that data, and then it's going to recommend services and products and other such things based on that data to you. So it might seem like it reads your mind, but no, it's just listening and watching everything you do. How do you feel about Crowley? I don't really care for Crowley. I recognize the contributions that he's made to the modern day occult community, but I'm not a fan of Thelema. I'm not a fan of Crowley, and I'm not a fan of how the non-occult community, so people who aren't occultists but may have heard about a few things here and there, or people in the occult conspiracy community, I don't like the clout that they give him because it's highly undeserved. There are far more influential people within the occult, both before and after Crowley, that deserve the recognition that he's getting. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of Crowley. Although I will acquiesce that a lot of the fame that Crowley gets isn't really due to his occultism. It's due to a lot of his outrageous and outlandish claims that he would make in the public, like claiming to be the Beast 666 and all this other stuff. So imagine in the early 1900s, before the internet, TV wasn't around, radio was still in its infancy. Someone, and especially in Christian nations like the UK and the United States, at least at that time, far more Christian than they are now. Somebody claiming in public to be, the reincarnation of the great beast, is going to cause a lot of controversy. He was the Kanye West of the 1900s, or the early 1900s, and he got the clout that he was looking for, but it's highly undeserved. Talk about alchemical fluid condenser, please. That's not my bag. I was supposed to be live this evening with an alchemist. We usually go live every Wednesday, 9 p.m., but he's not feeling well. That would be a question for him, for Alchemical Mason. I do not practice alchemy. Reading Mysteria Magica. It's about the practices of the Aurum Solus Order. Interesting. I've not read that. Mysteria Magica. I've not read that. It's an alarm. Yeah, I thought it was like the CIA coming to like take me out, but it was my goddaughter's Roblox. She's in some server where there was an alarm going off or whatever. I don't know. Sounds like a fire alarm. No. Fire alarms here, at least in the U.S., are super loud, super annoying, and just, beep, beep, like that. Not like that was. That was like a low guttural alarm. Want to play with real witchcraft? I got cousins from Tijuana who do real evil shit. Interesting. Yeah, if they're from Tijuana, they probably engage in maybe some sort of brujeria, maybe even something muerte veneration. Have you ever seen spirits? Yes. Doppelganger? No, it was surrogates. Surrogates. Yep, I know the movie. Yeah, that was a good movie. Who do I have to sacrifice to get a second wife around here? Your first wife would be the first stop. Unless you divorce her. But you should probably sacrifice her. Boss, how can I be initiated? You have to find a coven, a group, a temple, an order, a grove, whatever sort of system you're trying to get into. You have to find, their, whatever they call their groups, and find an in real life version and either travel to them, fly, drive, whatever, or if they're local, that would be the best option, and just go down to them and see if they're taking any new members, and if so, find out what you have to do to become an acolyte. And usually they'll want you to be in a probationary period. They're not just going to say, okay, you're in, after like an interview. They'll usually put you in a probationary period, and it's usually for a year, sometimes more, before, especially if they don't know you. If like you don't know anybody personally in the group, they usually will put you on a probation period. So that way they can first get to know you and first assess if you really are trying to, do this, or if it's just a passing interest or something like that. So do you think Donald Michael Craig version of using musical octaves is a good practice for astral projection? I don't astral project. I shaman a journey. I've personally never heard outside of him of someone using it. So I can't say for sure if that would be a good option. My suggestion would be to test it out and see how it works. So thoughts on entheogens. Be careful. Don't use them as a crutch. A lot of people within the occult use them as a crutch, as a way to help slip into an altered state of consciousness and stuff like that. I understand if you want to use stuff like that, or other such helpful substances, to help slip into an altered state of consciousness for like your first couple of times. But even then, people, especially if it's your first time, then you'll think, well, I need this all the time. So I don't have an issue with it. Just be careful to not fall back on it as a crutch, because there will come a point where maybe you can't get your hands on any, maybe you're all out or whatever, and you need to do magic, and now you're stuck because you don't know how to get into trance yourself. You need some help. And help isn't always a bad thing, right? There are things out there that can help you without being, so overwhelming, like flying ointments and stuff like that. I have flying ointments that I use. I put them on my mucoccus membranes. So, here, back here, behind the ears, behind the knee, and on the soles of my feet. And they help go into a trance state, without, being overbearing. But just be careful. And not because it's dangerous, but I guess it could be, but because you don't want to, help in that sort of arena. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to like Patreon and stuff like that. So sorry for asking again, but have you ever seen spirits? My Wi-Fi went off. Yes, I have seen spirits. And that's exactly why I don't think cloning is a thing or anything like that. See, like earlier I said it, they can't get Wi-Fi right. And you just said your Wi-Fi went out, right? So Wi-Fi doesn't work. It's not but yet cloning works perfectly and all, so that's why I can't get behind stuff like cloning or, any of these, they're controlling our minds with our phones and stuff like that because they can't even get Wi-Fi right. So greetings from the Bahamas. Woo! Bahamas. What side are you on? Are you on Nassau or Freeport? Both are great. But what side of the Bahamas are you on? I love the Bahamas. Are there docs where they use remote viewing to see what's on the moon? I don't know if there are docs that talk about what they remote viewed on the moon. I'm not part of the conspiracy community and that is into those sorts of things. So I'm not familiar with any docs. I'm sure someone out there may have written a doc and claims that what's on the moon. But the problem with that is that I promise you that if you find two people who claim to remote view the moon, as long as they're not associated with each other, like they weren't part of the same sort of group or program or anything like that, it'd be two completely different accounts. So who's right? Like, I actually did a video, not specifically on remote viewing, but on similar techniques. Two videos actually, and both of them were in regards to the moon. One guy said that he did say that he remote viewed the moon, right? And he said that when he remote viewed the moon, he saw all kinds of souls coming to and from the moon. And so therefore the moon must be a soul farm, right? So I had to debunk that and talk about, why he's seeing souls coming to and from the moon. Fine. A couple weeks later, another video comes out from another creator saying, and not saying, but his video was about places you can't go during astral projection. And the first one was, of course, Area 51. Ooh. And then, of course, the second one was the moon. And he was saying that you can't go to the moon through astral projection or remote viewing or anything like that because it's blocked off. There's a force field and there's beings there that, you know, shun you away and chase you away, blah, blah, blah. So who's right? The guy who says that he remote viewed the moon and saw souls, or the guy who says you can't remote view the moon? Which one of these New Agers is right? You see, that's the problem here. So I'm sure there are people who have claimed to remote view the moon, but if you find more than one, unless they're from the same group, they are not going to have cohesive, or excuse me, they're not going to have cohesive and coherent accounts. One guy will say something wild over here, and this guy will say something completely wild, over there. But you're in the Bahamas. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Hey, how's it going? What's up, occulty shit? What's up? Pick up this manga called Sakamoto Days. It's fire. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not into like anime or manga or anything like that. Although I rewatched Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 1 because Volume 2 is my favorite. I've seen that a million times, but Volume 1 I'm like, I don't care about the I don't care. But I went back and rewatched it like 2 weeks ago, and I forgot about the anime scene in Kill Bill Volume 1, where it talks about how Lucy Liu's character, who is the leader of the Yakuza boys or something like that, this like assassination squad, she when she was a kid, she witnessed her mother getting raped and then killed, and then the guy that did it was a pedophile and was trying to rape her, but then she used her super ninja skills to kill him or whatever. And that was all anime. That was all like animated, but it was very stylized. It was very Quentin Tarantino anime. I like that, but I like Quentin Tarantino. So best movies of the 70s, Taxi Driver. That was phenomenal. French Connection. That was phenomenal. Okay. All right. Dogs. Yeah. Okay. Which GF 1 and 2? What's that? I don't know what GF 1 and 2 is. But yes, Taxi Driver, phenomenal. French Connection, phenomenal. Dog Day Afternoon, phenomenal. But which GF? GF. I don't know. I'm trying to think. He was called the wickedest man in the world too, yeah. How can I become a wizard? You're a wizard, Harry. Well, I don't know. Because no one calls themselves that. Other than Oberon, Zell, Ravenheart, no one calls themselves wizards, or warlock. Which is, if you go on my YouTube, I debunk, which is what I mainly do on my YouTube now. It's a bunch of debunking videos. There's this guy, John Ramirez. I've debunked about 2 or 3 of his videos. He claims to be a former occultist, a high-ranking occultist. He was high up in the Satanic Order and all this other stuff, right? It's all BS. One of the ways you know it's BS is because he uses terms that no real occultist uses. I promise you, you will be hard-pressed to find an occultist today who calls themselves a warlock. You'll be hard-pressed to find an occultist today that calls themselves a wizard. Male occultist. You'd be hard-pressed. I almost want to say I dare you to go find someone, but I'm sure with 8 billion people in the world, there is some guy out there who calls himself a warlock. But as a whole, we don't call ourselves warlocks. And he refers to male occultists as warlocks. And he's like, yeah, I was such a powerful warlock that when I got married, all the demons came to attend my wedding. Bro, who are you? No one knows you. The demons came to attend your wedding, bro. Stop it. So, there's no way to be a warlock because there are no warlocks. No one uses that. What happened to Widow's Miho? Bro was bugging in the Discord. I don't know. I was in his not his Discord, but I was in, a Masonic Discord where, all the Masons that I'm friends with on here, are in. So Alchemic Mason, Widow's Miho, Sovereign Son, all those people. Brother Hummingbird. And apparently, he got hacked. So that's why, I put him in timeout for a week. Hopefully in that week, he'll be able to figure it out, get his account back, change his passwords, make it something a lot harder to figure out, and, everything will be back to normal. But yeah, hopefully, because like I thought one of two things: either he was hacked or he's having a mental breakdown. But it sounds like he was hacked. Oh, excuse me. Don't forget, Crowley most likely killed Mathers of the Golden Dawn, according to Mathers' wife. Yeah, they had a magic fight. They had a wizard fight. Wizard Wars. They had. Does anybody remember Charmed? The show Charmed, season 6? No, season 5. No, season 6. No. Yes, season 6. They actually had a show on the show. So a show within a show. Called Witch Wars, where these demons, would hire a camera crew to come to hell or whatever and film, demons and witches fighting. It was the craziest thing. But yes, they apparently had a wizard fight, and Crowley supposedly killed Mathers with the Spanish flu. But the issue with that is that the Spanish flu was largely eradicated by that point. So not to say that he couldn't have caught the Spanish flu. There are still people today who catch like polio and stuff like that, which I don't even know how that's a thing. But so, people still get gout. I was reading about gout back during King Henry VIII's time. His Catherine Parr was his last wife, right? Yeah. So Catherine Parr had a male confidant from Aquitaine or something like that. And I remember, he would send letters and stuff like that and, always say that he can't travel anymore because he has gout. This was back in the 1500s and people still get gout today. I'm like, bro, what? So, but I don't know. Spanish flu was largely eradicated at that point. So I don't know. Hey, let me in. Let you in where? What are you talking about? Thank you. You're welcome. Did I let you in? I don't know. Are feces ever used for magic? Yes, curse work. Feces are usually used for curse work, and not usually your own feces. It's usually dog feces, maybe bird feces, but usually dog feces are used. Yeah. So I got played so hard. I was in contact with a supposed brother before. Lies. I'm trying to know though. A supposed brother for what? For masonry? What is shamanic journeying? Shamanic journeying is just an alternate form of astral travel. It just requires a little more upfront than astral projection, right? Shamanic journeying, you start at the tree, the world tree, the Axis Mundi, and the world tree acts as your portal to the astral realm, right? Rather than you just going to the astral realm like you do through astral projection, you have to travel there. That's the difference with shamanic journeying. Also, the tree gives you direct access to the middle world, the underworld, and the upper world. So depending on if you're doing like soul retrievals or if you're doing healing work, if you're trying to find power animals, totem animals, if you're trying to, if you're trying to do like an alternative method to get in touch with your HGA, you would go to the upper world, things like that. It's a shamanic form of astral travel. We don't do it like the shamans did it in ancient times. There was a lot of different methods the shamans would use. A lot of shamans did use entheogens and things like that to induce altered state of consciousness. They would use, psychoactive plants. Sometimes they would drink certain substances that were filled with psychoactive whatevers. They would use flying ointments, but they used to, like, I only put it on my mucocus membranes. They used to rub it all over. So they would take this paste, this concoction of herbs, and just rub it all over them. They used to bury themselves. They would, dig shallow graves, not anything where they can't breathe. They would, dig shallow graves and cover themselves up to their neck. And, as a physical symbol, as a physical representation of them descending into the underworld, to begin shamanic journeying. Today, it's all based on altered states of consciousness. But, back in the day, like centuries and centuries ago, there used to be both a physical and, spiritual component to it. Exuma. You're in Exuma, Bahamas. I don't think I've ever been there. I've been to Nassau, I've been to Freeport, and I've been to that island right off the coast where like all the celebrities buy their houses or whatever, like have like houses. I've been there, or I haven't been there obviously, but I've floated past it, and someone was like, "This is where they, that's Shakira's house, and that's so and so's house." And we would stay at the Atlantis, which was phenomenal hotel. God, that was a great hotel. The shopping in that hotel is crazy. Like, it's crazy in there. What's up, Catholic Crusader? Oh, wait, sorry, I meant Louisiana. Louisiana? What you talking about? Oh, is it true that there are a lot of mystic shops in the Bahamas? My friend goes there a lot. But you meant Louisiana, New Orleans. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about going to New Orleans this year for like Halloween. I've never been to New Orleans. My parents go all the time. They travel all the time. Now that everyone's moved out of the house, they travel all the time, and they're down there a lot. They actually just came back from New Orleans in October. They were just down there for their honeymoon because they got married in October, almost close to Halloween, October 25th. But I have more power than every witch. Well, that's great. How do I find out what my true essence and powers are? What do you mean by your true essence and powers? You don't have any powers, sorry. We are human beings, and we are bound by the laws of physics, and we come with all the trappings of being a human, so no powers. But by true essence, do you mean like your true will? Like, is that what you mean? Because that's sort of part of the great work. So there's no like one way to do it. Whatever tradition you practice it and strive towards the great work, and you will discover your true will. It will be revealed to you. Speaking of movies, I found it interesting Batman chose Ra's al Ghul, which is Bahamian Star. Really? I did not know that. But it's not surprising. People in entertainment for decades have... because there's only so many real stories that we want to hear, right? There's only so many real, like, you've got your working class, you've got your, your slutty people, you've got your lower class people, you've got your rich people, you've got your heroes, you've got your criminals, you've got love stories, you've got coming of age stories, you've got teen dramas, you've got children's shows, and that's really about it. Most other genres can fit in one of those categories. And there's only so much that you can do there. But in the realm of fantasy and the realm of sci-fi, you can turn all those things upside down on their heads. You can flip those things, turn them inside out, and, just go on a wild ride. So it's not surprising that a lot of writers, a lot of directors, a lot of studios, a lot of producers are interested in not, just like the occult, but like myths and lore and things like that, to get inspiration for their stories. Yeah. Read the Word of God. Jesus will give you real power. I would urge you to look into grimoire tradition. I don't think you know what you're talking about. But thank you. Not weak power that leads you into hell. Well, thank you. You're going to actually make me get on YouTube. I love your debunking. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, check out my YouTube channel. I got quite a few debunking videos on there. I debunked the Reveal Report. I debunked John Ramirez, the guy I just talked about. A couple of Coast to Coast AM videos. I think there's an Elizabeth April video on there. I know I have a video saved in my little playlist on YouTube called Videos to Debunk. There's about 26 videos in there that I have to get to. I have like 4 in there from Elizabeth April. But I think I do have one of her videos that I debunk. GF is Godfather. Okay, the Godfather. Yes, Godfather. Nobody likes part 3. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. But okay, yes. Chinatown was good. I don't think I saw Chinatown, and I don't think I saw Deer Hunter. I mean, Chinatown sounds familiar, but I don't think I saw it. Deer Hunter, I don't think I've even heard of Deer Hunter. But I will check that out. '70s movies were crazy. They were. They were. I can raise the dead. Okay. No one else with any other power which comes from demons the devil can do. Okay. That's fine. If that's what you think. What do you think of the Philosopher's Stone? I think it's a excellent thing to achieve for or to strive for, but I am not an alchemist, so I'm not. That's not my goal. I don't care for the Philosopher's Stone or anything like that. But it's a nice goal. I don't think anybody will ever get there, but it's a nice goal to have. Are occultists Freemasons? No. Nope. And vice versa is not true either. So occultists are not Freemasons, and Freemasons are generally not occultists. Are there a couple of Freemasons that might practice occultism? Yes, there are. But as a whole, Freemasonry does not teach occultism. It doesn't promote occultism. It doesn't care if you do it, but it doesn't promote it or anything like that. Excuse me. So no. Any gift is of God, and he gave us the gift of universal language. Telepathy is of spells. Use demons. Alchemy. Yes. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Astral travel, etc. is all gifted abilities God gave us that we can all learn. That is true. Are you a Freemason? I am not. What's going on out there, dude? You've been to the vineyard? Is that like a club or anything? It doesn't sound familiar. The Eye of Horus. What do you mean the Eye of Horus? Satan tricks people to believe they need tools, tarot, spells, etc., but we only need our own minds. Well, that's cool if that's what you believe. I don't agree, but that's okay. What's more powerful, a whisper or a command when spellcasting? A command, always. And if you can, I recommend vibrating that command. If you know how to do the Vokis Magicae, I recommend using the Vokis Magicae. What do the leaves on the triangle symbolize? What? The leaves on the triangle? The triangle of art? I don't recall there being any leaves on the triangle of art. What? Yeah. I don't see any leaves on the triangle. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know. What leaves on the triangle of art mean? I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. Yeah, you don't need witchcraft to have gifted abilities. As humans gifted as humans gifted from God, phones dumb us down. Yes, phones do dumb us down. And while you don't need witchcraft specifically, you certainly need occultism for a lot of this stuff. Got my palm read in New Orleans a while back. She was really good and had a strong energy about her. Yeah, I personally want to go to some of the cemeteries out there. Yeah, there's some graves I'd like to visit and get some dirt from. Get some pretty powerful allies. Lesser Key of Solomon, get demons to do your dirty work for you. Well, the Lesser Key is not easy. That was the book that I just showed with the triangle. It's not an easy book to get started with. I mean, Grimtrad as a whole was not easy to get started with. So unless you already have experience and or knowledge of Grimtrad and spirit work in general, I would not recommend starting with the Goetia. What's your YouTube channel? Same as this, The Mystical Rebel. I am The Mystical Rebel everywhere. So YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, my website. I am The Mystical Rebel everywhere. It's a brand. Improv. Your debunking videos are cathartic. I play them after I talk to conspiracy theorists. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I'm glad like you use it to get yourself in the right frame of mind after dealing with nonsense conspiracy theories. Do you use Black Mirror? If so, are you familiar with Poke Runny's method? I do use Black Mirrors. Mine's right here. And yes, I am familiar with Poke Runyon's method. Funnily enough, it's funny you mentioned Poke Runyon because he just released his 30-year anniversary edition. Or wait, that doesn't make any sense. He just released a 30-year anniversary edition of the Book of Solomon's Magic. We were talking about Poke yesterday. Myself and Quinn from the Man of Medim channel. We were talking about Poke yesterday. About because someone had asked about what it would look like if they were to watch us do magic, and we had said not much. You're not going to see much of anything except just men standing around doing saying things and drawing symbols in the air and all this other stuff. And then I said, well, there is the Poke Runyon video series on YouTube. I mean, I think it's on Amazon too, because it is a real, movie documentary thing that he made. But you don't got to pay for it. It's available on YouTube for free, where he gives a rough evocation of Astereth, and that's pretty much what it would look like from a Golden Dawn-esque perspective, of course. But yeah, I don't have an issue with Poke or his method. It's not what I use, but he's cool. I'm actually surprised he's still around. When I saw that he released, I was like, holy! And it's on his website. So I was like, oh, he must he was old when he did the thing back in the '90s. So, what's your YouTube called? The Mystical Rebel. Practicing necromancy here. Welcome. Are you part of any sort of tradition or system, or how do I get rid of a soul tie? I'd say maybe a modified cut and clear. Are you familiar with spell work in general? Because if so, then you should be able to modify. Just use your knowledge of occult correspondences and do a modified cut and clear. You can also do a shamanic journey to the underworld and sever it there. Is astral projection the same as lucid dreaming? It's extremely, extremely similar. The differences are oh so subtle. With the exception of the obvious one, astral projection is when you're awake and lucid dreaming is when you're asleep. That's probably the biggest difference. Any deeper we go on that, it's going to get really, really tangled up. So most people just acquiesce and say they're pretty much the same thing. It can get very nuanced, but yes, it's the same thing. What's a good way to get started with this kind of thing? Well, what specifically? What are you trying to get started with specifically? With that kind of question, I would need to know specifically what you're looking for, because the occult is a wide and vast ocean of practices. So what book is that? The one that I just showed was the Goetia. Look behind you, leaves on the triangle. Oh, my logo? That's just my logo. I honestly told the guy who made it, I was like, look, I just need something different. I'm an occultist, and my name is the Mystical Rebel, so make it mystical. And that's what he came up with. The Bahamas has 700 islands. The eczemas are beautiful. Home of the swimming pigs. Swimming pigs? See, if I'm the kind of person who, if I was out in the field and I saw some pigs, I'd probably want to mess with them. And they probably chase me down, but I figure I can outrun them and get away. I'll probably jump in the water and, try to swim away. But if they can swim too, that's a little crazy. So I might not want to mess with the pigs. Do you believe in astrology? Yes. I don't practice astrology, but I do believe in it. Hold on, someone sent me a message on Discord. Hello, Gemini Sun. Welcome. Thoughts on Pluto going into Aquarius? I don't really have any thoughts about that. I don't really practice or study astrology, so I don't really have any thoughts on that. New here, what's this page about? Occultism, witchcraft, mysticism, sorcery, divination, ritual work, spellcasting. All that. And we also do debunks. Do you practice the 7 Hermetic laws? No, because that's not a real thing. The closest that you can get to that is maybe the 7 Hermetic vows, or the 7 letters, but that's it. The Kabbalion is not a valid Hermetic text, so no, I do not follow anything from the Kabbalion. Christ consciousness is so hyped by New Agers. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But then again, we can't expect anything different from the New Agers. They don't know anything. They're children. So, how do you become initiated? You have to find a group. You have to find a group, and hopefully they're local to you. Unless you've got the money and you're willing to travel, reach out to them. So, I would start like on Facebook. I would start on like occult forums, and try to find a group and reach out to them, see if they're accepting new members. And then see how you can become an acolyte. Ask, if you can, help clean up, after rituals and, all that other stuff, that way you can, become part of some of their events. And then you can also get to know some of the people within the group, whatever that group is called. And then you'll be closer to whatever sort of system it is that they practice. And you'll be able to see firsthand how they do it. Because not every coven or every group or order or grove or temple or, whatever, practices the same thing, even if they're from the same system. So you'll get to see how that group practices and if that's something that you really want to do. And then from there, you can make your decision. That's what I would recommend. Is astral projection the same as lucid dreaming? Oops, I don't know why I moved that. Well, hopefully you heard the answer that I gave earlier. Best book? Well, that's subjective, but 3 books of occult philosophy. Gotta run. Nice to meet you, and thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. Well, thank you, Sandy, and enjoy the rest of your evening. I appreciate you being here. Are you a Freemason? I see the sign on your wall. That's not a Freemasonry sign. That's my logo. That's the logo. It's the same logo that I have on my profile picture here. Same logo I have on my YouTube. Same logo I have on my website. It's a logo. It has nothing to do with Freemasonry. That's not a Freemasonry sign. That's my logo for my brand, which is the Mystical Rebel. Are spontaneous astral projections a thing or even common in your experience? So what do you mean by spontaneous? Because if you mean like, I'm walking down the street, and then you just astral project, no. But if you're attempting to astral project, and then you're like having a hard time, and you don't know what's going wrong, and then all of a sudden it just happens, yes, that's possible. But no, the abilities like that have to be induced. They don't just happen. Google the exumas. Nassau and Freeport can't compare. I will, man. Because, yeah, that's all I've been to was Nassau and Freeport. The tourist areas. In a non-egotistical way, I feel the veil is torn and I see the beauty and pain. How can I control the intensity of various energies? You want to look into energy manipulation. Maya Ohm probably has the best books out right now on energy manipulation. The Unspell book and Energy Essentials for Spellcasters and Witches. Take a look at that and work some of the techniques in her book or her books. And you should be really good. I would focus on learning how to ground and center. If you're dealing with a lot of intense energies, you should know how to move those energies out from you. So grounding and centering is a good start to that. And then Maya can go deeper into other techniques and things like that to help you not, get rid of it or like to stop it, but to maintain and show you how you can manage. What is ritual work and how can I get started with this? Ritual work is just doing rituals. There's nothing else really to say. You're just doing rituals. But a lot of practitioners call spells and rituals work, right? Doing a working. At least in hoodoo we do. That's all. It's just doing a ritual. How you can get started? You would have to get your hands dirty. Start doing magic. I don't think you should start with ritual work. I think you should start at the bottom. I mean, unless you already have knowledge. But I would start at the bottom, which would be sort of what I was talking to Big Bunny about. Energy manipulation. Start there. Get those 2 books that I mentioned. Matt Oren's Psychic Witch is good. Get that. Gareth Knight's Occult Practices and Exercises is pretty good. Get that. And then move on to Occult Correspondences. Study those. Then move on to Opening Your Third Eye. And then move into spell casting and ritual work. So that's how I would suggest you get started. Follow that format. I have a video on that exact format. So check out that video. Both here on my TikTok, where it's like 2 or 3 minutes, and then on my YouTube. I break each of those steps down for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We go into it, showing you how to get started. So check those out. How do you break a curse that has been blocking progression throughout your life? Well, first you want to ensure that you are cursed. That's the first thing. We can't assume. Bad things happen to good people all the time. Bad luck is a thing, and it doesn't mean that someone did it to you. So we want to do a reading to make sure that you truly are cursed. So that would be the first suggestion. If you are proficient yourself, you can certainly do the reading yourself. If you don't want to do it yourself, or if you're not proficient, you can find someone to do the reading for you. Someone, of course, who is proficient, to find out if you are cursed. And then if the reading determines that, but you should probably do it yourself, because a lot of people out there are probably going to say that you are cursed just so you can pay them to get rid of it, So I would strongly suggest you doing it yourself, but I understand if you don't know how to do it. Find someone that you trust. And have them do the reading for you, find out if you are cursed. If it determines that you are cursed, the reading should be able to tell you what kind of curse, or at least the origin. So that way you can begin to formulate a way to undo the curse. I could say, just do a banishing and a cleansing, maybe prescribe a head wash, but it would really depend on the kind of curse, or the hex, or the trick, or the hot foot, or the track, or whatever that has been done to you. It's hard to say what to do to get rid of it, because I don't know what's been done to you. The same way that so the method that I would use to get rid of a hot foot is not the same method that I would use to get rid of, someone who casted the black passion lust spell on you, and now you're obsessed with this person who you don't even care for, right? Those two curses are not undone in the same way. So I would have to know what you're afflicted with before I can determine how to undo it. Kind of like how a doctor, if you just say, "Hey, I'm sick," what can I do? They'll be like, "Well, what are you sick with?" If I give you antibiotics, but you have a virus, then it's not going to work. So if you got cancer, but I give you ibuprofen, it's not going to work. So I would have to know what you're afflicted with, and well, first if you are afflicted, and then what you're afflicted with, before we can determine a good recourse. How would you suggest I conjure the elemental spirits? I want to start with these. Start with them in what way? Because if you mean like you want to start like working with them, I actually don't recommend conjuration. I recommend either scrying them or projecting to them. Tatwa would be the best way to do this. Enochian. The Golden Dawn has an excellent deck in the Enochian Scrying Tarot, which is a double-sided deck. One side is the Enochian Scrying, the other side is the top, in which they show you how to project through the elemental symbols to the elemental realms, and there you'll be able to communicate with the spirits. So unless you mean like how can I incorporate their energies in my spell work, I don't suggest you conjure them. I suggest developing a more intimate relationship with them. So traveling to them or scrying them is what I would suggest. The Enochian Scrying Tarot by the Ciceros would be a good start there. And hold on, I gotta blow my nose. Sorry about that. Can you 666? There you go. Isn't that what all the celebrities do? I'm in the Illuminati now, right? Because I did this. I went 666. Or what's that thing? I do a 6 here, I do a 6 here, and then I put them together, and there's a triangle in the center. Oh my God, he's triple Illuminati. Double sixes and the triangle. Oh my God, definitely of the devil. Perhaps a private conversation. How could I do that? If you just have like a couple quick questions, feel free to email me. But if you think it's going to go in depth, then you might want to purchase a one-on-one, which is on my website. Just buy the mentorship, and then we can just use that as a one-on-one time. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. You're welcome, Big Bunny. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Appreciation ting. No. No what? Repent. Well, no. Never. Never what? Never repent? I don't know what you're saying. You're just saying random words. The one eye is not my power. Well, I never claimed that it was your power, but thanks for letting me know that. I don't drive a Honda if we're just saying random things. I don't live in Texas if we're just saying random things. I'm not an Asian man. These things don't make any sense, but neither is what you're saying. So I guess we're on the same page. Question. I performed a ritual and saw something different. I haven't performed one since because I didn't want to upset the balance. Should I have continued, or was it wise to gain more wisdom? So can I ask what kind of ritual you were doing? Because if it was spirit work, I think you did the right thing. If you're not sure, don't continue. Don't just stop. You should banish and give the license to depart. But if it was spirit work, I would say that was the right move. If it was just a regular spell or like a ritual, like for like a general thing, it would depend on what you were doing. Was it like a love ritual, a wealth ritual, or you're trying to curse someone? Where is it like a good luck ritual? Self-confidence ritual, so if I did scrying, would I also need a table of practice and a wand? No. You can scry with just the scrying tool. You don't need the table of practice is specifically for scrying spirits within grimoire tradition. So unless you plan on practicing Grimtrad, or if you just like the aesthetic of it, but the god names and the angel names around it, the cosmology around it would require sort of Grimtrad. But no, you don't need it. You can just, scry with your mirror or scry with your dark bowl of water. You don't need any extra tools other than the scrying device itself. I'm really a part of the elite occult that runs the world. I doubt it, or else you wouldn't be here on TikTok in the audience. Say it's witchcraft. It affects your life, progression, money, health, etc. Okay. What about it? Or did you ask me something before and I missed it? Let me see. No? I'm not seeing something. Oh, you were the one about the curse. You were the one about the curse. How do you break a curse that's been blocking progression throughout your life? So you're answering the what kind of curse it is. Okay. All right. So say it's witchcraft. It affects your life, progression, money, health, etc. Well, saying it's witchcraft doesn't help. Witchcraft is a practice, not a curse or anything like that. So I would need to know, is it like, I don't know, like the dead man's box or the killing toad or the drunken prophet or something along those lines, spells like that. But if it seems like it's like a general curse. If it affects your life, progression, money, health, etc., those types of curses are usually the easiest to get rid of because they're so generic. They're so spread out. They don't specifically affect a specific thing. So honestly, you could probably just do a banishing and a cleansing for like a week straight, like every day, and you should be good. Those are usually the easiest curses to break. So if it's doing all that, then you should be good for 7 days or 9 days if you want to be all esoteric with it. You can do a 9-day ritual where every day try to do it at the same time every day. If you have free time in the morning, do them in the morning. If you have free time in the evening, do it in the evening. Do your best to not do them at separate times each day. And yeah, do a banishing and a cleansing. The banishing that I prefer is the Adjuration of Metatron. I have a video on it on my page. And then you can do an invocation of any sort of benefic energy. If you don't have one in mind and you don't work with any spirits, Mars would be good. Mars is a martial spirit, so therefore he's good for both offense and defense. So you can invoke Mars and the angels of Mars, so Camael and things like that, and all the angels that rule under him, or that serve under him, to inhabit your space and prevent any negative energies from filling it up. Do that for 7 to 9 days every day at the same time, and you should be good. And then after that, I suggest shielding and warding. What is this? All right. After death, there is life. Yes, there is. I have a video on the Hermetic Afterlife. It's one of my most recent videos, like the second or third video recently that I did. Check that out. I have a video on the Hermetic Afterlife. Walking barefoot in the sand and sunning for a few hours is a form of astral projection. Spirit work. Spirit work. What do you mean? Spirit work. What degree are you? What do you mean, what degree? Do you mean initiatic? I received my first degree mysteries. I didn't go beyond that because I left the coven to go to college. But if you mean degree in any other way, I'm not sure what you mean. But if you mean initiatory, first degree mysteries, most witchcraft covens have 3 degrees. I only went through the first. So. I'm sorry, but the text limit on here is crazy. I'll maybe inbox you on some of our practices. Yes, please. Please do. Visit my website and click on the contact us. And yes, send me a message. Or you can join my Discord and you can talk to me on the Discord. Yes, I was trying to start getting into Grimtrat. Okay. You still don't need the table of practice just to scry. If you're just scrying, like if you're trying to do divination, or you're trying to scry the aethers or the elemental realms or something like that, you don't need a table of practice. But if you're going to be using your scrying device to contact angels, demons, planetary spirits, aerial spirits, blah, 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 then yes, you would need a table of practice. You should be able to find them on Etsy. You should be able to, I got mine from Sam Block, Polyphanes at the he still has his craft link, his crafts link on the website. So I'm assuming, this was 8 years ago. So I'm assuming since the link is still there, he still makes tools for people. I can't confirm that because it's been 8 years. But it's still there, so I would assume he still makes them. But if not, you can go on Etsy. There are people on Etsy who make them. Athena over at Enochian.org makes them, but she's expensive. Like, super expensive. I paid $50 for that one. Athena would have charged me like $400. So, yeah, I mean, not that she's not worth it, but there's no need to spend that kind of money. And no offense to Athena, her work is phenomenal, and she uses appropriate metals, which is probably why she's so expensive, because she uses the right metals. But yeah. Glad I came across your live. Good night from the beautiful islands of the Exumas in the Bahamas. Well, have a good night, man. I appreciate you coming here, and I can't wait to hear about your practices. Yes, please do reach out to me, my brother. All right, well, it's 10:30. We've been on here for an hour and a half. I'll answer the last 8 questions here, then I'm going to hop off. Yeah, pagan chat. In occult chat. I wouldn't call myself... I mean, I guess from a Christian perspective, I'm pagan, but I'm not a pagan. But in occult chat, I prefer. I'm going to do something to you when I finish initiation. Oh my God. It will not be pleasant. Oh, well, oh, wow. Sheesh. Are you going to do things to my butt? Are you like an alien and you're coming here to learn about humans and you're going to probe my butt? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to probe me in my butt? Do you want to do butt stuff? Is that what you're into, butt stuff? Don't be offended. I'm a butt man myself. What's that meme with Willem Dafoe? I'm somewhat of a whatever myself. Oh, God. I've read the Modern Goetia Grimoire by Rufus Opus. He gives a method for the genius Lokis. Yes, he does. That's what I started with. Rufus Opus and his Modern Angelic and Modern Goetia Grimoires back in 2009, 2008, 2009, around there. Yes. Hi, hello, Thara B chick? Oh, the Arab chick. Wow, welcome. I used to date a girl who was from Palestine. Although she would tell people she was from Jordan because of the issues that that's going on in Palestine. But yeah, I used to date a girl who was from Palestine. Her father did not like me because I wasn't Muslim, but her mother loved me. It was so fun. Yeah, that was anyway. Welcome. Later, bro. Nice watching live. Hey, Balagoria. What's up, bro? I didn't know you were in here. What's up, brother? Have a good evening. I didn't know you were in here. Have you read the Greek Magical Papyri? Of course I read the Greek Magical Papyri. I prefer the elucidation. Well, not the elucidation, but I prefer the... Oh my... I don't feel like getting up. There we go. I prefer the elucidation, or... What do I call this? I don't know. I prefer this. Techniques of Greco-Egyptian Magic, which by Stephen Skinner. Nice little academic size book. It's quite expensive too. It's got academic prices, $65, at least in the U.S. Canada was $74.95. But this is a how do I describe this? This doesn't even give it a good... essentially, it says if you want to understand Greco-Egyptian magic or the magic of the Greek Magical Papyri, such as Hans-Dieter Betz's The Greek Magical Papyri in Translation, this is a good place to start. But I don't know what to call this. Like, what would I call this type of book? It's not a commentary, because it gives ritual instruction, but it's not the papyri. I don't know what to call this, but this. The papyri is fine. But you want to know what? What Eric Perdue did for the 3 books of occult philosophy, I mean, and this is the closest what I'm asking for. Someone should do that. You should do that, Stephen Skinner, with the Greek magical papyri. Someone should do that. What Eric Purdue did with the... Oh, let's read that one here. I've read that book several times on my live streams. Talk about blood. What about blood? What do you want to know about blood? Blood contains life essence. Spirits love it, which is why they ask for it quite often. It gives them energy and power to do work for us. They can't just go do work. That's why you usually have to develop a relationship with the spirit before they can do work. So you have to give them energy through offerings and sacrifices and stuff like that. Or on the flip side, if you do it the Grimtrad way and you don't want to build a relationship, you have to negotiate, but you still have to pay them so that way they can do the work. Blood contains a lot of life essence, which is what spirits are after. Candles and incense and all that, they don't really give the same kind of energy. Hi, happy Wednesday night. Happy Wednesday. Is the Hans version worth getting? I mean, if you don't have anything, then I mean, yeah. But and it's the official version. So I mean, yeah, it's nice to have it to source back to. But there are, I don't want to say better because no one has done the Greek Magical Papyri the way it should be done. But this, in my opinion, is the closest. But someone should just redo it and not update it, but do what Eric Purdue did. Like, keep it in its original format, but just give us an accurate translation, give us corrections where there needs to be corrections, and give us illustrations where there should be some and there wasn't any in the original. And I think a lot of people would be really happy with that. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have anything else, then yes, I would get the Hans Dieter Betz version. I mean, that's really the only version you can get. I mean, there are other versions, but that's the most academically sourced one. So, but all right, looks like that was the last one. So I think I'm gonna hop off here, guys. Oh wait, no, I missed one. How often should we get a spiritual court reading? I got one from you months ago. Well, so your spiritual court only changes as circumstances in your life change. So unless you have been through like a major life change or something like that, you may not need another one. I certainly don't want you to waste your money and me just give you the same, spirits as you had before. If you haven't gone through it like a major life change or anything like that, I don't think they would have changed. So does pregnancy count? It can. Have you reached out to your spirits? Have you done any work with them? That would be my first suggestion. If they're not responding to you anymore, like say you have done work with them, but they're not responding, then yeah, they may have moved on. But if you have not done any work with them, I would try to reach out to them and see if they respond and go from there. The last thing I want you to do is waste any money. So take care, man. Have a good evening, Mr. French. Bonsoir, Monsieur Français. A bientôt. No, not yet. I was reading how to because I was nervous. Well, no problem. But yeah, that's what I would start with because I don't want you to waste your money, please. So I appreciate your response and honesty. That's what I'm here for. That is what I am here for. And I appreciate you and your questions and your support. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off, guys. I appreciate the last 90 minutes, hour and a half of questions, discussion. It was great as always. Sorry we weren't able to do the live reading of the corpus with Alchemic Mason. He's not feeling well. We were going to do the definitions of Asclepius this evening, but that has to be pushed back till next week. But all in all, we had a great live, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So thank you for being here. And as always, seek the mysteries. Peace.